welcome everybody. Just so you know, also I have a mailing list and I mail email tutorials every week, and there's one going out tomorrow, and as well as reminders about these Facebook Lives. So if you want to subscribe, you go to bit.ly/listemboss and fill in your email info and your name information, and you get a free tutorial for heat embossing as well. So there you go, you get one right away, and that way you can know, have all sorts of resources, tips and whatnot that are shared every week on that. And the video is the right way, right? It's not sideways. Yeah, it looks pretty good there, so that's good. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the cards that we will be making. So these two cards we made at the class last time, and you can see we made the little basket here using tissue, and we made the butterfly here using tissue as well. You can see we used the stamp as a mold, I guess you would say. And so we're not going to do that one. That one requires quite a bit of water and drying time and whatnot. So I thought we would use this technique, that we use the same technique that we used on the basket to make the water here. So let me show you some other examples, because it's quite fun to use tissue on a card. So here I used the woodland embossing folder, and I just used tissue. But you know what? You can do that on a napkin if that was kind of your theme, or if you have the magnolia flower right now, or later on the wreath. The wreath is available now, but for Christmas time, and you can emboss napkins, which makes them, kind of special. So you can totally do that. And just to show you too the difference, because you could use just plain cardstock if you wanted. So this is when I used the tissue here, and on this one I used just plain Whisper White. So you can see it's a little bit different because the tissue absorbs the ink a little more, and it gives a little bit of a different texture as well. And I used Seaside Spray on this one, so it was too pale, and I used Balmy Blue on this one. And we could have used that one too. It's kind of a neat color. Actually, I was surprised. We were in Tobermory last weekend, and I was surprised at how turquoise the water is out there. So we could totally do that, because Ontario is a province with a lot of water. So I'm starting to quite enjoy Ontario now. It's taken only 9 years. But anyways, so let's go through the supplies that we'll need to make this particular card here. So we will need a piece of gray granite cardstock, a piece of Whisper White cardstock to do our base like that, so it's 4 by 5 1/4, and a piece of scrap for stamping the lighthouse and the thanks, and then a little piece of gray granite as well to do that wheel there. Okay, then we are using the Sailing Home stamp set, and it's a cling stamp set, rubber stamp set, and the coordinating smooth sailing dies as well, and it cuts those really cool whatever you call seaweed. There we go. And also a rope here and another rope here, and a really nice label that you can use with any types of greeting that you want, as well as this little banner here that we're going to use today. I'm using the subtle embossing folder. You can use any of our embossing folders. They will all work. It doesn't really matter which one you use for a project. Then I'm using 2 ink pads, the Blueberry Bushel and Gray Granite, as well as the Memento black ink pad. And we'll need also a spritzer with water. And what else do we need? Oh, I'm using 2 blends, Daffodil Delight and Old Olive blends as well, to put on the to decorate our lighthouse a little bit, and of course tissue. All right, so let's get started. Actually, I should have made the piece first, because we need to let it dry a little bit, but that's okay. We can do other things. All right, so I'm taking 2 tissue, and folding them in half because I don't need a great big piece. If you need a bigger piece, then put 4 layers. So I'm just going to do that. Put that aside for now. Then I'm going to take my embossing folder, and this is something you can do on any embossing folder, whether you use tissue or cardstock. You can ink them up and have some really cool effects. As you can see, especially like we did it here with the basket 3D embossing folder, and it's a really neat effect. So on the subtle, it looks really cool for the water look that we're going for as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the lines are going this way, so I'm going to put the ink this way so they don't go too much into the groove. And just kind of swipe like that, make it fairly even. Okay, I think something like that should be about right. We just need a small piece really comparatively to the piece, you know, the size that we're doing. Then I'm going to put my tissue on. I prefer to put the tissue on this side and then close the inked side, because you don't want anything to move once you have the ink there. So I'm going to spritz lightly with water. Okay, and then I'm going to carefully close it and leave it closed. And then I'm going to go off camera to put this through my Big Shot. So I'm just going to make my sandwich and crank my Big Shot. The Big Shot would make the table shake quite a bit, so I didn't want that to happen. All right, so now I have my folder here, and I'm going to carefully open it up, and voila, I have my water. Really cool, eh? So there's ink left on there. I'm just going to put run it under, you know, under a running water, and it's going to clean it really good, ready for next time. Not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to let this dry for a little bit, and we are going to do other parts of our card. So first of all, we are going to stamp the couple things that we need to stamp. The lighthouse, and I'm going to stamp it in gray granite. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to stamp the thanks in blueberry bushel. And I'm going to put it here. There we go. And then I'm going to run this through the Big Shot as well. So I'm going to grab my 2 pieces that I need here from this. So I need, let's see, I need the lighthouse, and I need my little, this really cool little banner here. So I'm going to position this on my Big Shot again. I'm going to use my magnetic platform this time. So changing my sandwich here. All right, positioning. I really like the new system of positioning the dies. I'm going to just show that. Now with the new dies, you can see it fits exactly around it, which is really nice. It's a little easier to position than to you know, make sure that you have the lines exactly the same on all sides. I have a little piece here. There we go. I can see everything now. And then my thanks, I'm going to put it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to put my other plate on here and run it through the Big Shot. All right, so I have my 2 pieces now here. I love the little stitching right around I don't know if you can see that. There's stitching all around the banner, which is really, really cool. And then my lighthouse. Okay, and let's color our lighthouse too. So I did a little bit of grass around it. We were in Tobermory last weekend and seeing a couple of lighthouses, and it's so neat to see that. And they usually, at least the ones we saw, were on land. I guess sometimes you can have them in the middle of the water, but okay. And then just to put a little bit of yellow here, so I can use the blends here with no risk of smearing, because the blends are alcohol and my ink is water-based, and so it works really well together. All right, so we're going to set these two pieces aside for now, and then we can do our birds. Well, our piece is still drying here. Give it maximum chance to dry. So I'm going to use Memento ink for the birds. I'm going to put my lighthouse right about here, just so I know I kind of can position my birds. Now my granddaughters probably could tell you which kind of birds they are, because they were at some kind of there was a camp for kids. They went a couple of summers. It's kind of a rescue. Hey, Carla is watching, so she would know where the girls went to be able to identify birds up in the air and tell us what kind of birds they are. It's pretty amazing. So anyways, I don't know what they are, but they add a little bit to the sky here. Okay, so next let's see. Yeah, that should be about dry, and then I need to decide which part I want to use. And last time I has used the edge, which was perfect. This time I don't have a perfect edge. So let's see, what could we do here? I'm going to cut it and try and cut as straight as I can. Oh, I know what I can do. I will use a piece of cardstock. Let's use this one like that, because that's what I did. I used the cardstock as a guide to cut, so I can yeah. How am I going to cut? Let's do it. I'm going to cut this like that for now. Then I'm going to try and cut as straight as I can here. That will be my kind of the edge of the water. I don't think you could use your paper trimmer on here, because it would be it's a little too flimsy for that. All right, so then what I do is I position here. So what I'm going to do, actually, there we go, that's what I had done when I made it. I'm going to use the lines on my grit paper. So I want the water to be right about here, which is, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it would be 1 and 1¼ No, that's not right. 1 inch. Yeah, 1 and 6. No, 1 3/4. 1 3/4 inches. And then I'm going to put the glue. I'm going to use liquid glue and just put glue where I know I want the water. And then I'm just going to put that right here. Let it stay for a little bit. That glue stays wet for a little while, and so you need to be a little careful that it doesn't slide away. And now I'm going to cut right around my piece here. Okay. And then this corner here. Sometimes you have enough left to make another project. Sometimes you don't, depending on you know, where the best. It's never exactly the same twice. So there's still a little piece here that could be used, kind of uneven water, but you know, or uneven texture, but that would be okay too. Okay, so there we go. Now I can glue this. So I'm going to take my card base and fold it in half with the bump inside, making sure the corners are together. And then I'm going to use snail to attach it to my card base. All right, okay. Make sure that it's good pressure here to attach it. And then we are going to put it all together. So we're going to take our lighthouse and some dimensionals. I'm using the mini dimensionals. You can use the big ones as well. It works. I'm just going to put four mini, or you can put 3 big ones, 3 regular size. It works as well. Just to get it to pop up a little bit. If you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment, or if you have any comments or anything like that, just I think I would. Oh, nice lighthouse. Thank you, Mark. I love the lighthouses. I don't know, they've fascinated me. It's always I did sailing when I was a teen, and learned the different even sound. Sometimes they send sound, even like they emit things that you can receive with a special receiver to know exactly which lighthouse it is, and they all flash differently, so you know which lighthouse it is, so you can determine your position. It's pretty cool. They are actually very crucial when you're on the water to know where you are and where there is danger, like rocks and things like that. So see, these little holes there are perfect to pull out the piece that I die cut out of the gray granite cardstock. And I'm going to use liquid glue for that one. I should have brought my fine tip glue, but this can work too. It's not too fine. Just don't put too much, otherwise it goes all over the place. So I'm just going to use that liquid glue like that. Okay, and then on my thanks here, I'm going to put a couple of mini dimensionals again. And put it right here. There we go. Okay, and the card is finished. So you can experiment with tissue, the different colors, different embossing folders. You will get you know, different effects. Like here, you know, using the basket, we got a completely different effect. And then using the woodland folder, we got a different effect there. And I didn't put this one on a card, but we could do that. And it just gives it a little different texture than if you were using cardstock. So it's quite fun. I love doing you know, different things, using different material that we have around the house to make cards. And there we go. So if you want some more tutorials, make sure you subscribe to my mailing list, bit.ly/listemboss, and you get a free heat embossing tutorial as well. So there you go. All right. Does anybody have any questions or any other comments? I will look for the comments as well, you know, if there was any that I didn't see. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening, and come back next Wednesday, 8 o'clock, and we will do something else fun. All right? See you soon. Bye-bye.